We're already on page 8 of 10, so we're nearing the end of this report here, guys. So, large number of regulatory changes. Okay, so financial services professionals need to stay ahead of salary movements to be able to attract and retain talent and also for their own careers. Yeah. So I think we've already identified one, right? If you're looking for remote work, you're already behind the 8 ball, right? So I think that's something that we can all take forward. What else? Okay, that's nothing else that's interesting in there. About Selby Jennings. Yep. Okay, and then the rest is just boilerplate stuff. Okay. Okay, and here they are giving the final end number. So their final end number is 2969. Yep, there we go. New York was 808 of those, 282 in Texas, 250 in California. Okay, so they were looking at analysts and associates, senior associates, vice presidents, and 22% said they were team leader, manager, or principal. Okay. So a pretty good mix across the different levels. Yeah. 808 were based in New York. That's not surprising for financial services. What's jumping out at me here is this. Texas could be skewing these results. Because Texas, for those of you that are not in the United States, is a state that does not have state income tax. So on a salary basis, a salary of $100,000 in Texas is worth a lot more than a salary of $100,000 in New York. Significantly more, right? Because there's no state income tax versus, something in New York where you could be like, depending on where you live, it could be like 16%, 14%, 16%, something in that range, right? So it's quite significant when you include people from no state income tax states, because it kind of skews the results in that way. Or in some cases, companies will pay you less if you are based out of Texas versus being based out of New York. That also happens, right? So kind of different ways to look at it, but it's good to see this type of breakdown. And it's good to see their final end number, because they did say that it was close to 3,000, and 2969 is close enough. All right, so what do you guys think? Any other thoughts on this now that we're through the report? I'm surprised the report was that small, but an interesting report nonetheless. What do you guys think? Any other thoughts that jump out at you, or any other experiences you want to share? Or any other questions you guys have on, what I've seen in terms of salaries and moving jobs and things like that? Is it possible that we're still having challenges with the YouTube chat? Real Slim Shadi says, would it be useful to explore people's definitions of words? Yeah, maybe. Are there particular terms that you think are... Well, I'm assuming you mean that some of these terms can be subjective to people, right? They mean different things. Are there any particular terms, Chadi, that you think are kind of, maybe like more subjective than others? What do you think? I mean, maybe there are some things we should take the time to clearly define for everyone. But you tell me, Shadi, give me an example. Okay, so Real Slim Shadi says, for instance, my good manager would be different from other people. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chadi. So what do you guys think? You guys want to speak to that? What makes up a good manager? I can think of some things that I look for or that I appreciate in a manager. But again, I don't want to bias the discussion. So what do you think? Does anybody want to kind of give their own definition? Or maybe Chadi, you want to kick us off. What is your definition of a good manager? Because you're right. You're absolutely right. There's many ways to define that. Patrick says there were a lot of interesting things in the report, and I think I am just mulling them over right now. Okay, cool. I might post this report in the Discord. I'm gonna have to create a separate channel for documents because I want to kind of keep those separate from the chat. But I might put this up on the Discord, or you're welcome to sign up for it on the Selby Jennings website. They have a big website. Again, I wouldn't recommend them as recruiters because I typically don't have a positive view of recruiters. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was an interesting report. Yeah, but let me know if you guys want to kind of give up your definition of a good manager. I know to a couple of you this was kind of an important thing to have like that positive culture, positive management. Okay, Patrick, thanks for stepping up. So Patrick says, in my PhD, I felt like my advisor was not a good manager. They didn't engage in my work at all, and I was constantly reminding them of what the status was. How does this compare to industry? Yeah, sure. That happens, right? There's plenty of cases where managers are overworked or just plain not keeping up with what you're working on, right? So yeah, that happens, Patrick. You know, where maybe they're scatterbrained or they're just not very organized, right? You know, that definitely happens. Real Slim says someone who knows that you're talented enough. Yeah, okay, I get that. I can relate to that. Now, see, Chadi, when I say I relate to that, I think about like that really carries out into basically that they're empowering you, right? They're trusting you, right? And I think that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to empowerment. And that's what I try to do when I manage people. You know, I try to show my trust and say, hey, you know what? You're here for a reason. I asked you to do this for a reason. It's because you're a smart person. So go for it. Right? So I think that's what you're getting at, right? And yeah, talented enough to do things differently. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's rooted in trust. But you let me know, Chadi.